Like day. Hello and good morning, good day, good evening, good afternoon, um, good twilight, dusk to dawn. Today is November 29th, 2017. It's my day 1.201. And wanted to share something. This is my transition blog. This is where I'm at. I had a conversation yesterday with my mom, who I have asked to visit me in the, well, more than visit me, she's going to take care of me in the spring or in the summer if GCS happens for me. She's going to be my caregiver because obviously it's like a hysterectomy. I mean, you need help, and I need help with my daughter. And my mom is going to come out, take care of me, take care of my daughter, take care of my daughter while I'm in the hospital, etc., etc. And, you know, my mom has been one of my strongest allies in this process. I think it was my sister that actually was the first person I came out to as transgender, and my mom was second. And my sister has been one of those family members that has said, "You're dead to me, get out of my life." And so it's a dead end there for the moment. Although the door's open, I've kind of stopped trying because it got old. But anyway, let's stay positive. But my mom has always been probably my strongest ally in my family, other than my daughter, my parent. And I remember back in the 80s, my mom gave me some clothes when she wanted me so very badly to be a cross-dresser and not transgender. She wanted so badly for me to just be not to be a cross-dresser. Let me not just say just be, but to be non-trans. She wanted me to be a cross-dresser, and she gave me some clothes. She has a different style than I do, so but anyway, you get the drift. She did not go, "Oh my God," at least not to my face. But as supportive as she has been and is, she definitely has reservations about surgery. And as a parent and a child, I mean, I'm a father. I know, yes, we get concerned about our children. And so I think her concern is somewhat well meant. But as recently as yesterday, and I've kind of been preparing her. I've not really said what the surgery entails because I don't want to gross her out. I'll leave that up to her imagination. Although I think education is very important, and I've back in the 90s, I had watched some videos of surgery at the time where, basically it looked like some alien dissection. They splice and twist and shred things, and then they recompact them to make the labia. And anyway, so I didn't want to gross her out, but I think education is important. But I'm not going to point her in that direction just yet. But so I've tried to explain to her that, like a hysterectomy, it's a 5 to 8 week, 5 to 6 minimum recovery time. I've banked 6.5 weeks of vacation time, and I should have 8 weeks of vacation time banked by the time surgery rolls around, if I'm so lucky, in the spring or in the summer of 2018. Some 5 to 8 months from now. It's not that far away. It's if it happens. I have an appointment in less than 2 months with the surgeon's second consult. She has my letters. I'm all good there. I just have to lose the weight, and I have about 17 pounds to go. So yay me. Um, but yesterday, my mom was so intent. I don't think it was a distraction, and I don't think it was bribery. Um, but she was so intent. She wants to take me to Disneyland, okay? She wants to take my daughter to Disneyland. That's probably, I'm just collateral. She wants to take my daughter to Disneyland. My daughter's 11 years old, and definitely, I grew up in Florida, Walt Disney World, so I've never been to Disneyland. My daughter's never been to either, and I think as far as wonder and wonderful stuff to do, going to Disney is pretty damn good. And I know I can't take her to Disney, okay? So, but my mom just has it in her head. She wants to take us to Disneyland. She wants to take us to Disneyland, and I've said to her, I would like to go to Disneyland. I promise you, I want to go to Disneyland very badly. But keep in mind that in some 3 to 4 months, you've committed to coming and staying with me for 5 weeks while I recover. And so can we go to Disneyland next year? Can we go to Disneyland? Let me recover and then we go to Disneyland, but like I said, I felt somewhat like a distraction, in the book and in the movie, Starship Troopers, Johnny wants to join the mobile infantry, and his parents are like, we'll send you to Zegama Beach, and as a distraction. And I don't quite think that's what it was, but it's hard to, again, I'm very, oh please God, I'm so thankful that she has been so supportive and is supportive. But it's definitely been a hard thing for her to swallow, and since the 90s, when I told her when I was 19, Mom, I'm transgender. I want to have sex change operation or sexual reassignment surgery, gender confirmation surgery, gender conforming surgery, sexual whatever surgery, And so, like I said, I guess I needed to share just to get it out of my system. I'm very thankful she wants to take us to Disneyland. And I hope I'm not pushing too much, but I had asked her a year ago because I thought I was going to have surgery over this last summer, and I weighed too much. You know, it's like uh, when you're transitioning in your first year, you have so many other things going on, and like you're like, surgery, yeah, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? Can I do an orky? What do I want to do? I don't know what I want to do, and you're kind of stuck because you got to let the clock run down. You have to be full time for a year, and that's um, it's very easy to forget that, especially if you don't know the WPATH standards of care. Um, you think, oh yeah, well I can just do it. I'll save it. And if you have the money, and I don't know anybody who's sitting on thousands and thousands of dollars worth of cash. I know I'm not. Um, but we forget that, yeah, once you start to do it, and you're like, yeah, I gotta wait a year after full time. So you gotta be on hormones for a year, and you gotta be full time for a year. So and consider ourselves lucky. In Germany, I think you have to be full time for 2 years. So, or on hormones for 2 years, I forget. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Um, but like I said, I guess I'm just sharing that concern that, and I do still stand by the belief that I think about 60 to 70% of what trans women, what we want to achieve, is definitely achievable just by going full time and living in the role of our authentic self and being treated by others as our authentic self. So I mean, I don't, and again, please don't take that to mean that if you don't do surgery, you're not going all the way. I mean, you do what you want to do. You are the best captain for your ship, your vessel. You decide where you want to go and when you want to, what you're comfortable with, and etc. etc. So maybe we've reached somewhat of a closure for that. Like I said, I'm just sharing, and I'm going to continue um, um, I was building up to the idea of surgery seems so far away in your first year, and then in your second year you begin to kind of put your ducks in a row. You know, is this really what I want to do? And then when you get to the point that I know for me last year when she told me I had to lose 120 pounds, I was like, are you fucking nuts? I have to lose a third of my body mass? And now that I'm like 17 pounds away from it, I'm like going, wow, this could actually happen, you know. Or the pessimist says, all right, you know, God, or, you know, all right, what's the next thing that's going to prevent me from going forward? Is it money? Is it insurance? Am I going to lose my job? Is the government going to change healthcare so healthcare companies can deny coverage? You know, those things that a lot of challenges, but I want to move on from that and talk a little bit about surgery itself. Um, if you're not familiar with it, I feel it's worthwhile to get an understanding of how it actually works. So real briefly, we're going to talk about penile inversion surgery, and I'm going to use my sock here as a guide. Real quick, and this way it's not bloody and gross and whatnot, but what they do, and this will be about 2 minutes, and it won't be the rest of the video, but you know, they make an incision, and if you still have your foreskin on, they'll, you know, but they make an incision kind of at the tip, at that ridge, and they kind of go around and they slowly, you know, make a cut, turn, trim a little more, make a cut, turn. And so basically what they're doing is they've essentially they've cut off the top. I mean, it's still there, but it's not attached. And then they pull that top through. And so you basically have, okay, let me do it this way. If you look at it, they basically have a tube, okay? Because they're going to pull that inner, once it's not connected, and they're going to cut your scrotum here. They're going to pull that thing out the front here, okay, which is the tip and everything else. So basically you have this tube, right? And that's the intact tube that they're going to use and do funky stuff to. And again, while you have what was the head out here now connected to the nerve bundles in your urethra, your urine, excuse me, your testes cords where the sperm shoot out. That's down here now. And so then they take and they pull it out like that. But since it doesn't have a top to it, it's really like this. And so it's kind of taking that shaft outer layer, the tube, and turning it inside out. And then once they disconnect the testes, the sperm tubes, and the sperm sacs, they pull them out, and then they make an incision along that fiber bundle, so you still have the head and that little fiber connection. Okay, to me it reminds me of like a computer. When you used to plug in a disk drive, I don't know, it shows my age, but you used to plug in a disk drive and it was like a ribbon cord, and printer quick cords use the same thing. It's that it's that bus strip, and that's what it is. And then while they have the tube here, it's inside out, pulled down. But since the hole is at the top, then they just make an incision or 2 incisions at the top. And while they have their little head there, they stick it back up in so your head's at the top of the hole. And then they trim down your urine cord and actually use that on top. And then they seal the hole with it. And then they reach back through and pull it back out, do some stuff to it, and then they push it back in. And that's how you have this like sac that was your penis inside of you. Okay, this would be your legs. I'll do it this way. Okay, there we go. Leg. This was your pee-pee hole, now inverted, and that's the neo-vagina. That's how it works. Okay, pretty neat. much, much better than slicing and dicing and origami. It was like, oh gosh, it was like alien dissection. And I'm very squeamish anyway. So that's it. And I've steeled myself to the process because, again, it's education and whatnot. And I don't want to gross my mom out what it is. And so because it's the erectile tissue, it can expand, it can take things, and the one woman I've heard speak about it, the tissue is somewhat not moisturizing. I'm going to say lubricating somewhat. I don't know. But anyway, not, again, I think if you use there's another part where they can pull part of your intestine and use that, and that way it's more moist. I don't know. But anyway, it just is a bit of education, and I apologize if I've made any mistakes. But that's a very simplified, just look at your sock. When you take your sock off and you're like, whoop, there you go. That's, yeah, So that's that. And then the other thing I wanted to just talk about real quick is my voice. I've got my daughter's bronchial infection right now. And so over the last couple days, my voice has been very raspy and very resonating. And I used to sing for fun every Christmas time. I love Dean Martin, okay? Dean Martin and Bing Crosby. I just love both of them. And, I caught myself yesterday while I have this extra resonance singing Christmas carols and whatnot in the Dean Martin style. And I just had to laugh at how the voice, it makes you, when I started, my voice was, I think I've mentioned before, it was an A2 on the piano. Middle C is a C4, right? So if you go to the middle of the piano and you go C and you go left, you're going to hit another C, which is C3. Keep going until you get to the A, couple keys over. And that was my voice. And I don't necessarily think I have tried deliberately to raise it, but I think I definitely have softened it a little bit and raised it up a little bit. But it was kind of freaky when I first realized what I was doing yesterday as I was singing, because I was back in that range again. And I don't know, but I don't know. It's definitely a challenge. And in some ways, we say we want to be our authentic self, and in other ways, I think our voice can be somewhat of a mask too. I have to think about that, And that way, let me see if I can pop my voice here. Can I talk a little? Well, I can talk a little higher. Okay, but I still have the resonance in my voice. Woo. Okay, let me go back down. That hurts. Excuse me. And a lot of that has to do with phlegm and everything else. Not to gross you out. Pardon me. Should have warned you. Well, of course, I just talked about sticking your shtick inside out. So, and if you're interested, now that I've thoroughly grossed you out, you have to have electrolysis. Well, it depends on the surgeon. Some of them will accept laser. Some of them don't even require it. They'll scrape your skin to get the follicles off. Not to gross you too much. But as I've alluded to, talking with my friend Sarah and Jamie and them and our other whatever, it's the weirdest thing to be in an electrolysis chair. And if you feel something, because of course you're numbed up, right? You use the cream that you put on your lip down below on your tent pole and the tent, the surrounding area. But you feel like this jerk, like, ugh! And you look down and you see a woman doing this, doing this to your penis. And of course, I don't know if I can get it to stretch, but doing this to your penis, and then she's, bzzzt, bzzzt, oh, that was a good one, bzzzt, and you're just sitting there going, I'm paying someone to shock my cock, it's so odd. It's such a odd, this process is odd, isn't it? I mean, but it's worth it, I guess. I don't guess, it is worth it, but. And that's something that I wanted. We'll rewind back to the first topic. My mom, I've wanted to somewhat say to her, because she always assumes it's a rush decision. And I wanted to say to her, and I have said to her in the past, I said, you realize, as part of the standards of care, I have to wait a year on hormones. I have to wait a year since I've gone full time. I have to get a second psychological evaluation from someone who doesn't know me, which is 3 or 4 months, right? Complete my letters, go through the authorization process with my insurance company. And then I have to do a couple months, if I'm lucky, of shocking my groin for electrolysis. And so it's not a rush decision. It's not, ring ring. Hey, Dr. Smith, you free on Thursday? Oh, great. I'll have a sex change operation. Thank you. But that's the logic that I think our parents have, or our spouses, or people that don't know. And maybe it's up to us to educate them somewhat, but we don't want to gross them out. And I'll close on that thought. I remember the first time I saw the video of an operation, and it was at the Southern Comfort Convention in Atlanta. And it reminded me of the show Quincy, the opening of Quincy, where he pulls back, he's got the cadaver and he's got all the police officers, and he's like, gentlemen, welcome to the world of forensic medicine. And he pulls the so they see the cadaver, and one by one the police are like, they fainting and whatnot. And you could tell the room in the hotel, or in the area, the convention, as people would come out of that room, they would be nauseous and sick. I mean, like I said, the before penile inversion, I mean, it looked like an alien dissection, as I've said before, if you look at a face hugger from Aliens, turn it upside down and look at the mouth. Don't you see labia and whatnot? It's because H.R. Geiger was a sick fuck. Yeah, so alien dissection is pretty appropriate. All right, my dears, good luck to you today. It's a little overcast. I hope your life is not overcast. And definitely good luck to you in your transition wherever you are. And hopefully I'll shake this resonate. Oh, see, this is my resonating voice. I didn't talk like this before, though. Well, I did. Crazy, isn't it? Isn't life wonderful? Just the opportunity to do what we want to do. Thankful for that. All right, till next time. Goodbye and good luck.